Yeah. So good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about GCP and Kubernetes. So GCP is Google Cloud Platform, as I have discussed in my previous presentation also about GCP. And today we will discuss about how Kubernetes, what is Kubernetes and how it is work and how it works with GCP also. Yeah. So agenda of today's presentation is overview of Google Cloud Platform, introduction to Kubernetes, GCP and Kubernetes, container and container orchestration, Google Kubernetes engine, like we call it GKE, and then architecture of GKE and key features. Okay, so introduction to Google Cloud Platform. So as we have already discussed in previous presentation, like GCP is a cloud computation platform which is provided by Google, and it provides multiple services like compute engine, cloud storage, BigQuery, uh, networking services, many services it provides. So basically, just to revise, like what is cloud computing? If some company is having infrastructure with it, and so it provides the infrastructure um, to other companies on a kind of rental basis. So other companies can structure as per their need, whatever type of resources they need, they just use them and just pay for only those resources and for particular that amount of time. So if some of the company, like some of the application need, is having high volume of user, at some take the high amount of resources from Google Cloud and just use that and pay for it. But if sometimes it doesn't have that much of amount, like volume of users, then what it can do, it can release all the resources. So there is no wastage of money, and it is like good cost cutting. So it can just use the small number of resources and it can release other resources, so that it does not need to pay the resources which is not being used. So that is basically cloud computing. So it is provided by Google. GCP is provided by Google, and all the services of Google is also used. Like they also use GCP services like Gmail, YouTube, all type of application which Google is having. They also use this GCP services only. It provides scalability, reliability, and global reach to any application. So obviously, it is scalable, that I have already explained. Require the higher number of resources, but it will provide that. And whenever you require less number of resource, so you can release the resources. So that is a scalable thing. And reliability is, it is very much reliable. It provides number of layers for security. It provides distributed system backups and many more things for the reliability. That is basic need of any of the software or any of the industry. So reliability is very much important part, the part that is provided by GCP. And global reach to any application, that means it has like data centers located across the globe. So if you want, if you will host your application in GCP, it is easy to host across the world. So that is the basics of GCP. Now we will just discuss about what is Kubernetes. So first, let me just ask one thing. Not ask, just let me discuss. When we are using some application, they are like very high amount of volume users. For example, Hotstar is there. So Hotstar is an application which is used by many of the users. Sometimes some special things is coming on Hotstar coming. So that at that time suddenly number of users increases and millions of users are watching Hotstar, but you can always see it is very smooth. Nothing gets crashed and nothing happens with that application. So how they handles all these things, like this number of amount users and many, like it is like sometime it is very much a very high amount, sometime it is not, but then also it is working fine. So They use this cloud services, and also they use this Kubernetes in it. Kubernetes is an engine, we can say, it's compute engine kind of thing. So they use this technology so that it can scale the number of users also, and it can be the application can be used in any type of environment. So what does it mean? Like first, let me just read what is the definition. Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration platform which automates the deployment, scaling, and management of containerized applications. So there are a few new terms like container orchestration. Maybe this is new for all of you. And next is containerized applications. So it is an open source technology that we understand that what is open source technology. We can use it. It is freely available. And this automates the deployment, scaling, and management. That we know that we have to deploy the application, we have to scale the application, as I mentioned, and that sometime Hotstar is having high amount of users, sometime it is not. So scaling is required, and management means everything related to serve application. So it automates this thing. Now, what is container orchestration and containerized application? That I will talk in the later slide. So there is a small diagram about the basic of Kubernetes. So for first, we can say the bottom layer is virtual machine or physical server. Next is operating system, and next is Docker engine. And on the top of Docker engine, it is three containers are there, and in the every container there is an app available, that is application. So just we can get one overview, like there are three apps which are running on some container, and all the three apps are using some common engine and some common operating system, a machine or physical server. They are not using their own operating system. Maybe some app is required, some other OS, like it has been developed on Windows. Some app has been developed on Mac OS. Some has been developed on Unix OS. So they can require different OS whenever you run that application. But you can see here all the applications are running on same operating system, same engine, and same virtual machine. So how it works? So we will talk about containers and container orchestration. So what is container? So I will give an example. Let's say I'm a developer. I have developed an application, and I have developed the application in Python, and I have used a version 3.10. I have used my laptop, which is having Windows 10, and then I developed the application. I installed many libraries, which are the dependencies, and then my application is running successfully. Some configuration also I have defined, and many things I have done, and then the good application has been created, and now it is working very smoothly in my system. Now I give someone to test it. Let's say I give to Rahul. So now he has that application code with himself, but his system is Mac OS, Python 3.11 version. He does not have any of the library which I have installed. So what the application will not work in his system. It will like crash, or it will not work. It will not, it will give multiple errors. So he will come to me that it is not working, but it is working in my system. Now I have to debug, like we have to debug why it is not working in his system. Then we will get to know OS incompatibility, then dependencies are not there. Dependencies means some library which I have installed that is not there. Version difference is there, like Python version is not same. Many things, many infrastructure issues are there. So what we will do, we will upgrade Python version in his laptop. We will download all the libraries and the dependencies in his laptop. Then he is having Mac OS, and I developed on Windows OS. So one way is like I will create a virtual machine in his laptop, and as a guest OS, I will install Windows, will run on that Windows system. The other thing, like I can make it a Mac compatible, then it will not work in my Windows, and then I will make two versions. That kind of many problems are there related to infrastructure. Rahul tests it and he says that it is working okay, then I have to deploy in the production to make it live for everyone. Now the same thing I have to do in the deployment environment, it will not work there also. Then I have to deploy all the dependencies, all the versions and all the things. Then everyone who is using, maybe he can face the issue. But yeah, after deployment generally don't are not faced. But this is a very time taking and effort taking uh, task, and also it takes many of the resources. Um, if you are installing a guest OS in a system, so one more OS is there. If you are uh, every dependencies, if you are installing, so it takes resources also, time also, and efforts. And every time you have to be worried about how you manage the infrastructure. So if you are a developer, you are focusing on your code, enhancing your code, and make it more nicer, like very good code. But same time you have to be concerned about the infrastructure part, how it will run in different systems. It is a very problematic thing, we can say. So here containers comes as a solution. So what is container? Container, like I have written in the definition, it packages application and their dependency, ensuring consistency in different environment. So what kind, like as you can see, also there is a container. It has the libraries, we can say it is dependencies, code of the application, all the configuration, environment, and runtime, like whatever things are needed for run in the application. Everything is packaged in a uh, container, and we create a image of this container. So that we call as container. So they are lightweight, portable, and provide resource efficiency. So we can understand that how resource efficiency they are providing, because they help everything with them, environment, libraries, and also in every any of the system they can work. And like, and you know anything, you don't need to do many things. So resource efficiency is there. Obviously they are portable because they are having everything related to application within themselves, so you can move them to any of the system. Now, like, it is not needed you have to check every time the environment, everything. And they are lightweight because you have functionality of the container. So that is the concept of container. Yeah, because they make it like that only, no, like when we package everything. So the technology is made like that. Lightweight, lightweight in what sense? In the sense that this package takes lesser amount of space, or does it take lesser amount of resources? In the both the processing sense, yeah. In the processing sense, it will be lightweight because everything is packaged in a single thing. It does not need to import from anywhere. So, and also means when you create any of the final thing of um, application, like application is having some good amount of code, you create some executable thing of that, you create a image of an operating system. Then generally these are the final output comes as a thing. Otherwise, if you will like if you will download the OS in your system, then it will take very much high amount of space, but it create one image, so it is very lightweight. There is some internal technologies I need to learn about it. I can explain, but for now I just observe that if you create some image of this thing, every time that are very less um, space taking and source taking. For example, zip file, we can see now file, the whole file is there, but then zip file uh, takes the less space. It is very lightweight, but the whole file is there now. We can connect with it, not the same thing, but we can just connect with that. Okay. And any question related to it? Okay, then moving ahead. Container orchestration. So as we understood the concept of container, so orchestration. So we can have multiple containers. Any of the admin needs to manage multiple containers. Any of the app can have multiple containers. So there are many containers can be there. So you need some tool or software which can orchestrate those containers. Like sometimes some schedule some resources to some specific container. Sometime it needs less resources, and you can give the resources to others. Sometimes some failure is there, so you can same time you can up you can do the up of some other resources for some container. You can every time you can configure that I need this much of minimum resources, and maximum is this. So whenever it is something is going down and it is coming to less of your minimum threshold, then some either you have to do this you have to manually check, like if I have configured that minimum 4 resources should be there, but it is every resource is getting down and now it is 3. So I have to I have to take one more resource, and it will be minimum 4. So but what is container orchestration is there is some platform and some tool which automates all these things. Like it is provided as per the minimum requirement. It do the scaling part, it do all the management. So we can see the definition, like container orchestration automates the deployment, scaling, and management of containerized application. So we have to deploy, we have to scale, and we have to manage these containers or containerized. So here container orchestration is needed because we need to automate all these things. Otherwise, everything to manage the container, we have to do a lot of efforts. So Kubernetes is a very popular container orchestration platform which simplifies the complex task and allows developer to focus on building the application without worrying this infrastructure. So it automates of everything, and you as a developer just need to focus on your code and enhancement of your code. You just not need to worry about your infrastructure, your scaling, management, deployment, because that is a very big part of the development. If you develop the application, but you are not able to scale it, if many people are coming and it is getting crashed, then your business will have very much of loss, and you will lose the users as well, because they will not come again to your application if it is getting crashed. And also if there are less number of users and you are paying so much, like for millions of users, you will lost for your business. So that's why everything can be automated by this, using this container orchestration thing. So Kubernetes is that technology. Okay, then we will talk about Google Kubernetes engine. So Kubernetes is a technology, like it is a platform which can be installed in your local system also. So you can use in your local system, and then you can do all the things in your system. But it has its challenges, like you have to then install the Kubernetes itself. Then you have to provision, upgrade, scaling of the Kubernetes itself. So then you have to manage this Kubernetes. So GK is again like Google Kubernetes engine is again a solution of it. You don't need to manage anything related to Kubernetes. It is already integrated with Google Cloud Platform. You just need to make your application as containerized, and just you Google Kubernetes engine, that is GKE. Then you don't worry about the installation, provisioning, upgrade, scaling of Kubernetes. And obviously, next part, Kubernetes will handle like how to uh, deploy your application in different environment, how to scale that. So everything will be take care by itself only. You don't need to worry of any Kubernetes services on Google Cloud Platform. So it is managed by Google Cloud Platform. So you don't need to think about the um, uh, related things of Kubernetes, like installation and other things. And we can say it simplifies and scaling of the containerized application using Kubernetes technologies. So this thing is already installed on the Google Cloud platform. Yes, it is compatible. I can see, I will show you in the end how it is there. I will not be able to do the end-to-end thing because I don't have any containerized application with myself. And I checked it is giving some error in my account also. So I can just showcase like how it is like where the option is coming. But yeah, it is not today I tried, but it is not being opened in my like from my ID. Yeah, so next is GKE architecture. Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, so there's a diagram that is a basic architecture of Google Kubernetes engine. So there are mainly two parts available. We can say one is blue and one is white. So blue is control plane and second one is nodes. So how it works? First, you can see there is user. It is interacting with kubectl. That is Kubernetes command line. So if user is having any application, it will interact with command line, or there are user interface also available in GKE. Interacts with this user interface, and then there is a control panel, control plane, and control plane is we can assume like master. So their master node and worker node are in, like we have already discussed in previous talks, like in cloud computing, master and worker node concept is there. So is this this zonal control plane is master node in reference to when it comes to GKE. In GKE reference, it is almost we can say it is master node, master. So it user interact with master. So any of the application, any of API call, like HTTP call, any of the thing, if you are giving to GKE, it will be handled by API server. API server is here in the control plane. So it will interact with API server. Then other thing, like we can say API server is the endpoint of this GKE. From that point, user can interact. Internally, then in the master, there are resource controller, scheduler, and storage. So as the name suggests, resource controller is it controls the resources in related to that application. Scheduler is like it do all the scheduling of the containers, like take the resources from one container, giving to someone is up, then doing down and up of the resources. That kind of thing is done by scheduler. And storage, as we are already, we know we are working with the high amount of volume, high amount of storage is required. So managing the storage also, that is also required. So that all things are coming under, that is as I told, that is a master node, or that is the master, we can say. Other things is nodes. So nodes are having nodes are like worker, we can say that is worker, and all the nodes are having containers, and containerized containers are having the images of containerized applications. So, and what is user pod? User pod is the minimum deployable unit of a node. So it user pod can have one container or more than one container also, but the smallest deployable unit is user pod. And it is deployed on the multiple nodes. So that is a basic architecture of GKE, how it works. Yeah. Okay, going to next slide. Key features of GKE, as in the discussion only we understood, but yeah, I will just highlight. First is automatic scaling. So automatic scaling, like it enables automatic scaling and ensures that performance should be optimized, like whatever type of resources and how much is needed there. According to it, gives the resources, and when it is not required, it releases the resources, and if it is required, then it gives the more resources. Load balancing and networking, so that is also built in GKE. So communication with the other containers and like different containers and pods is required. So it provides the communication, and load balancing is obviously needed, because which type of, if there are very much load, so the like it should be balanced, not going the high amount of load is going to one node and other is not having much load. That kind of situation should not be there. So it has the technology to balance the load in each and every node. Then monitoring, so the health of our application, how the cluster is performing, everything we need to monitor. So there are multiple services in Google Cloud Platform, so it can integrate with those services, and then it can easily monitor all the things. So it provides very powerful monitoring, as Google Cloud Platform is already very powerful. And next is integration with other GCP services. So it can be as it is a part of GKE, like Google Kubernetes services. It can integrate with other services. So like BigQuery, if you are dealing with big data, you need big queries, you need cloud storage, you can integrate all the things. IAM is uh, what is that? Integrity and authenticity management. Like it is related to security and access related thing, like what type of access should be given to which type of user. I think IAM full form I have wrong. Some access management is there, but yeah, work is its work is like to give the access to some specific user. If you don't want to give some access to some specific type of user, then this IAM comes into picture. So that kind of services can be integrated with this GKE, so that it makes the things very easier and more secure. So that is the thing in key features of GKE. So thank you. I can show just like I can just show how it looks, but I cannot show the whole thing because it is not working for me. And also, it needs the application. I don't have any application which is containerized. So I will just show how it works in Google Cloud Platform. So this is a new project we can create, and I can give the name GKE. You need to create one project for that in the Google. Like this is a console to create a GCP, as I mentioned in my previous talk also, cloud.google.com. Then you have to create one account with your ID, and it will ask for a few uh, details, and then it will ask for your credit card also, because and it will give the first $300 as free credit. Then if you will activate the full account, then it will charge from your credit card. So all the billing and all will showcase there. So I have done this signing up and all previously. You can create a project, and because you will always need a project ID, under the project only you can work. Then you can select that project. Now you can use the different services of GCP, as there are API and services. You can see there are many services. Then IAM, as I mentioned, identity and organization. Okay, this was I. And then this is, you can see Kubernetes engine. Now you can click on that and it will open. Okay, it has opened now. Last time it was not open. Let's see. Yes. Now it is working. Earlier it was not working. So this is just, I can, because it will take time. I think this enable takes approximate 5 minutes. So when it will be completed, then it will ask for some questions like your configuration, and then it will start. Then the containerized application also, then it will create that application in the Kubernetes. It will deploy that. So for now, it will just enable, and we can showcase that form only because we don't have the containerized application. So I will not be able to do the final submission. Yeah, a very small demo. I like just for giving an idea of how this user interface looks like. Yeah, that is it from my side. Thank you, everyone. Anyone is having any question?